What is your like major sign of wealth, even though it's so small?
Okay, I don't know if this makes any sense, but I think people are wealthy when their couch or sofa is not leaning against the wall. You know what I mean? Like rich people have such large, extravagant living rooms that their couch does not need to lean on a wall. They can decorate and put their sofas in the middle of the room. Does that make sense?
What is your like major sign of wealth, even though it's so small?
Yo, this might sound crazy, but I promise you, if you think about it, you will notice the same shit and it'll make perfect sense. But for me, I notice somebody's wealthy, or like a sign of wealth to me is when people let me in their house through the garage. Like, have you ever noticed broke bitches always use the front door, but a rich person will always say, come through the garage and don't shit be in there, but maybe a few packs of water and a bike. But they always let you in the house through the garage. I promise you. I promise you I'm not crazy.
What is your like major sign of wealth, even though it's so small?
She was saying stairs in her video, but I'm gonna piggyback off that. If you have an attic or like a basement at all, I think you got money. People with stand-in showers, basically, if you have no bathtub, you got money. I don't fucking care, because any single time I see one of these showers, I feel like I'm shopping at IKEA. If your fridge looks like this, especially with the built-in ice maker, you can never complain about anything going on in your life. If you have a pool in your backyard, I don't need to say anything else. If I walk into your house and you have a fireplace, it just makes me want to rob you. I've lived in apartments my entire life, so whenever I'm walking down a driveway, I always feel like I'm walking down a red carpet. No, I will not elaborate.
If you're poor or less than lower class, what is your
An interesting wealth indicator is where people stop using the word bucks. For example, a lot of people say, that's $5 or $10. Well, this reset my entire mind frame on that usage when I had a Zoom call with the pro Discord member, an investor, first time talking to him. And he's like, yeah, Tom, I'm working on this deal and I really just need about $6 million to get it done. $6 million, that's all you need, okay? So coming to find out, he had around 7,500 units, apartment complexes, and $6 million is just $6 million to him. So you always learn something new.
what is your like major sign of wealth, even though it's so small?
For me, it's how someone walks and how someone talks.
Poor people tend to walk with intent to get to a destination. They often have heavy steps and fairly lax posture. They also tend to talk a bit faster and louder than most people because they have less control over their environment. Wealthier people tend to walk much more slowly with their hands around their chest. They tend to make light steps with good posture because they are taught from a very early age to have good posture. They also tend to speak much slower and quieter than most people because they have more control over their environment.
What is your like major sign of wealth, even though it's so small?
If you grew up with siblings and you still had your own bathroom, you's rich.
What is your like major sign of wealth, even though it's so
If you had multiple siblings and you didn't have to share a room and you didn't have to share a bed, that told me that your family had money.
What is your like major sign of wealth, even though it's so small?
When people have like weird specific utensils for like one thing, like a rice softener or a papaya press. A relative of mine got mad at her husband because he sweated on her cork yoga mat, which you're not allowed to sweat on, even though there's different mats that allow sweat, but not the cork one. Now follow me, you fucking idiots.
What is your like major sign of wealth, even though it's so small?
100% it's a washer and dryer. Now hear me out. I've never had a washer and dryer in my house. I've lived in an apartment before the house that I currently live at, and we never had a washer and dryer. So me and my family would always go to the laundromat just to go wash our clothes. There would be times where I would have to go wash my clothes at my friend's house, which I love you guys for letting me do that. And to the people who are just like, oh, it's just a washer and dryer. No, bitch, it's not just a washer and dryer. It's the countless hours of having to go to the bank, get quarters, get money for the fucking laundromat, having to find a laundromat that's available, even finding the right area to put your clothes. Like, bitch, shut up. The day that I actually get a washer and dryer in my house, I can't wait.
What is your like major sign of wealth, even though it's so small?
One, when they have a car that's specifically only for a certain hobby, such as like a fishing car. Two, when they're always going on cruises or flying first class on flights. Three, when they're spending their money on luxury brands like luxury purses and things.
And number 4, when they're constantly going to the casino. So basically, I just called out a lot of my extended family members.
What is your like major sign of wealth, even though it's so small?
Bro, okay, this one's like not gonna make sense to a lot of people, and I'm okay with that, honestly. But when people have a dining table in the dining table room and the kitchen.
What is your like major sign of wealth, even though it's so small?
People who have pantries. You're telling me you've got a whole ass walk-in closet for your beans? Like you're not just shoving random dried goods into tiny little cabinets all around your kitchen? I'm jealous.
What is your like major sign of wealth, even though it's so small?
I grew up like very middle class, so I always just had like the basic kind of, you know, features, but here's some examples of things in people's houses or whatever that just scream rich. If people have that like middle island in their kitchen and it has like a granite countertop. If people have the fridge that dispenses the ice. If people actually put their cars in the garage instead of just like a bunch of stuff. When people packed their lunch every single day of like K through 12. I know this is kind of a weird one, but if someone's parents drove like a Yukon, like a big ass like GMC, that just screams wealthy. I don't know why. When people had like a family room, like an extra living room. When people had like the wraparound couch, like the corner couch that was kind of shaped like that. Yeah, I had none of that.
What is your like major sign of wealth, even though it's so small?
When people have the ability to just leave lights on without them using them.
What is your like major sign of wealth, even though it's so small?
So for me, growing up, it was if you could afford to get the snacks at the movie theater. If I saw you like getting snacks, I was like, dang, they got some money. But like, cause my parents, they would never buy us like the snacks at the movie theater. We would always sneak snacks in. And like when we were really young, it wasn't even like stuff that you would buy at the, you know, store and you would take it with you. One time my mom made us some bologna sandwiches to take it to the movie to eat. We were really small. And somebody was in the theater and they said, it smells like bologna in here. Like, dang, they didn't have to put us out like that. We didn't even have no chips. We had freaking bologna sandwiches. Ain't that something? But yeah, so buying snacks at the movies.
What is your like major sign of wealth, even though it's so small?
So I grew up in a city where it was always like over 100 degrees every single day in the summer. It was super fucking hot. And growing up there, whenever I would go into somebody's house and see that they had like central AC, oh my god. Like we're not talking like a window unit, not talking like a swamp cooler, which is the thing we had. Like central air conditioning, like that's a rich person. That's a rich person. I don't even know what a swamp cooler is. Like what is that? That's a real thing? I don't know. We had it though. It was real loud and real big and it did not work really well. But anyway, now I'm an adult and I'm not rich by any means, but come on, check this out. Look. Look at that. Look at that. We got central AC, baby. Yeah, I've made it.